Lovely sunrise somewhere. The Yao villagers of this village are already up. The people, the chickens, the dogs, already at work. Here a lady hauling sand for some reason. Child with the hoe, and learning early. I hope these men are off to work so that I won't be near them all day long. Not that there's anything wrong with that, just the chatting. I'd like to have the solitude. Yep, there goes some of them up the farmer's road or trail. Here's a good signpost indicating I'm going the right way, and it for some reason augments the one directly above it. I wonder if these folks ever reflect on the investment of their forefathers in the building of these pathways of stone. Wonder whether they're recent or whether they've been of stone for eons, at least in the last 400 to 700 years. Okay, now begin a descent down to that covered bridge, simple covered bridge, and then up to the left, which raises the issue of, is this direction of the trail from Daxhai to Pingyan generally down or generally up? One authority told me that it was generally down, which is why I thought it would be a very good idea to hike this way. But a man here, a local man here, indicated to me apparently that it really is up and down continuously. Fortunate I am to be here early in the morning when there's only myself and the local people, and it promises to be a sunny day, which should be one of the first. They took a very short side trail, and I ended up meeting at the next intersection just before they did, so I told them that I was, with signs and some few Chinese words, that I was going to be charging them 1 yuan per person. And so they made a big show of showing me that they had their tickets, and I said I'd be their guide, and I led them off with the arm swing of a guide, and we all got a chuckle out of that. Then I stopped, let reality pass. Elect to stay up here, and you can also elect to have one of these ladies carry your bags up here for anywhere from 30 to 40 or 50 yuan, whatever they're able to talk in. Close in view of these terraces, and it looks like some raspberries right there. Yep, that's what they are. How slow and plodding is their pace. And I think it reflects years of experience. And the other primary source of industry here that knows its own path and doesn't need to be led with a bridle. Knows where it's going to go. It's going to be carrying sand today. And I suspect that horse and that man have as close a relationship as all the other legendary animal and their trainer, owners, masters have, including the elephant and his mammoth. A group of the men were sitting at a entry point for the village, and the road went right and left, and I just pointed my finger left, pointed it right, shrugged my shoulders, and one man pointed with his finger to the right, and I laughed and they laughed, and I said Zai Zhen, kept walking. But this is the village of Tiantou, and I'm shortening it and pronouncing it my way. It also is a tourist center. Another man from my village of Daxhai pointed up there, so I assume that's where the trail ultimately goes. This looks like, I can't tell yet if these are oranges or that other fruit. We'll see in just a moment. Yeah, they appear to be that other fruit. This is rapidly developing into the European American desired tourist site. Hotel. Some tourists. Transliteration of caution. Ironically, the curious choice of words works. I chose not to stay up here because I'm hiking from Daxhai to Pingyan, so I would have to pass through here anyway, of course. But then when I get to Pingyan, I take a bus back down below Pingyan, take another bus back up to Pingyan, and then I would have to walk back up along this trail and then walk back down again in the morning. And I just felt that was unnecessarily redundant. One stays here for the views, and they would have been good, but I usually look at the views, videotape them, and go do something else. Fortunately for these folks, water is now a part of their life, and hopefully it's good water in the sense of health. It's interesting that this building, and probably an area extending out there, will be built up to usurp the views that these buildings have back here. And this will become even less of the quaint tourist spot it might have been 5 years ago. Looks like I can take a direct bus from here to Guilin and also to Yangshuo. If I'd have known that, I'd have gone straight to Yangshuo. Certainly a pretty building, but I suspect essentially the same as mine, since all the construction techniques are the same until they shift to brick. Here is that shift to brick or cement block from the more original rustic. And as I leave the village, it's important to note that I stayed at Daxhai rather than Ping'an, because Ping'an is reputed to be massively more touristy with tour buses, etc., etc., etc. I'm now at an intersection. To my left is Shanchen Ladder to the Heaven. That's the viewpoint number 2. To my right is to Music from Paradise. If I go to my left, it should loop back around to number 1, which is to the right. So looking at this map, notice down here, the double circle is, I presume, where we're at. And I'm presuming number 2 is to the left, and number 1, God, that is so useless, is, oh, okay, is above it. And above the place we're at right now, if you look at that, you can see it above and to the left. So I think I'll make this to number 2 viewpoint. Looking at my map, you can see Daji is the top of those 2 circles. Number 2, which is to my left, is the green dot off to the left. If I flip this 180 degrees, it'd be in the right orientation, so I'll do that. Okay, so now where I've come from is Daxhai, which is the bottom of those 2 circles, and I'll go to the left to the green, and then it'll interface again to, so presumably then from there I go to the upper dot, which is Tiantou, which I thought I just went through, and then as I continue I go to number 1, which is the upper green dot. So we'll find out. The worst that'll happen is I have to backtrack. I have to be very careful if I come to intersections to mark the direction I've come. So like Hansel and Gretel, I can get back. So I have to feel my way, because it's probably a not often used route. It's not marked, and it's about the same size as the other trails, as opposed to lower down where it's the bigger of any of the trails. It's taking me through buildings I would have thought were the top of Tiantou. Yeah, so here we are. Here's a sign that says number 1 going back the way I just came, number 2 going to my right. So hopefully it's equally well marked, and I'll get there and then get back onto the trail at point 1. Here a large tree duly marked. It will be a sunny day, in part at least. Here's where confusion can arise. There's a trail goes to the right, another trail goes to the left. This looks slightly larger. It's counterintuitively going down, but I'm guessing that other path goes up to those houses. Walked right by that sign because it was to the right and high. That's where I've just come from. Double warning there. This is where I'm going to 1,000 layers of heaven. The guy gets to carry some wood